Hey everybody, and welcome to beginning our Edge of the Earth player card reviews for ARKHAM Horror the card game. Edge of the Earth at this point is the most recent expansion that got released. It was a boxed, the Investigator package, which had all of the player cards. So we're not reviewing by cycle, we're reviewing the whole cycle at once. So it should be a good time. Before previously, as I said, we'd review by Mythos pack. This time we're going to be reviewing by class. And in this video, we're going to be covering all of the multi-class cards. We're not scoring. We don't give like a score to these cards when we review them. Instead, we kind of just share like if we think they're good, why we think they're good, why we think they might be not great, etc., etc. So buckle up, grab some popcorn. We have a lot of cards to discuss. Let's dive in. We're going to be starting with the cycle of spells. The first one here is Blur. We have a 2-cost, 1 experience asset, commits for a foot. It is part of the Rogue and Mystic class, takes up a spell slot, and hey, it's a spell. Uses 3 charges as an action if Blur's charges remaining evade. For this evasion attempt, you may use Brain instead of Foot, and you get +1 skill value. If you succeed, spend 1 charge. You may take 1 additional action this turn. If you succeed by 0, take 1 damage. The upgraded version still costs 2, 4 experience. Also commits for a Brain, now has 4 charges. Also, you evade using your Brain or your Foot. You get +2 skill value. If you succeed, you may spend 1 or 2 charges. You may take that many additional actions. And if you succeed by 0, take 2 damage. Bryn, I'll throw this one to you first. What do you think of Blur? And then also is generally these charge spending assets spells for these guys in this cycle?
All right. Well, firstly, I think that taking 2 damage is a rather steep cost. 1 damage less so, but also the payoff for this one is pretty big. Where if you succeed, you can spend a charge and get an extra action. Or, I mean, not can, you have to. You must do that. I think this one, like most of the evading spells, is rather niche. Not every purple investigator is going to want to play these. Almost no green investigators will, at least at present. Because there are just other options for evading if you're green, notably ones that don't really have a cost to them. The upside is, kind of big, I suppose, especially on the upgraded one where you can get 2 extra actions. So you could use a Blur to evade an enemy and then just unload your 25 automatic into them and still have most of a turn left.
Yeah.
So there are some real neat things you can do with it, but I think this one is more of a watch this than, like a strong card.
Yeah, I'm kind of there too. Like, for we're gonna be talking about Brand of Cathaga in a second, but like that one, I can see a case. I think that's a really nice offhand weapon, right? For a good for an investigator. But I look at Blur and I can't really imagine a time where I'm gonna play it because the downside does suck. And like we're not a very evade heavy party here on this channel. And I think I just kind of like Mists of Rella more. I think I dig that card for my evade spell. I just kind of like take it. Like, Shroud of Shadows is the Innsmouth one. Ineffable Truth I've never played. And and still I look at this card and like, I don't think it's something I want to be doing when I'm building my decks. What about you, Travis?
Yeah, the card's fine. It's just another evade spell. I don't think there's significantly better than the other ones or significantly worse. I still think that I personally like Mists of Rella the most. But
yeah, but it's really just kind of up to the flavor of the player. What type of ice cream they want to be eating. Yeah. Cool. Brand of Cathaga. So this is also like the other one. Both cost 2. 1 experience, 4 experience. Commits for a fist or a fist and a brain for the upgraded one or the level 4 one. Uses 6 charges as an action fight. You may use brain instead of fist and get +1 skill value for this attack. If you succeed, spend 1 or 2 charges. Instead of its standard damage, this attack deals 1 damage for each charge spent. If you succeed by 0, lose 1 action. The upgraded level 4 version has 9 charges. You get +2 scale value, and you can spend up to 3 charges. Instead of its standard damage, deals 1 damage for each charge spent. And if you succeed by 0, lose 2 actions. What do we think of this one?
I like the flexibility that this one brings, where you don't necessarily have to burn what is effectively 1 entire ammo to deal, it's like a 3 health enemy.
Yeah.
Particularly on the upgraded one. But even on the level 1 version.
That is nice.
Yeah. As I said
Chris
too,
wrote
this
good.
is... Oh, sorry, Travis?
So I think this card's pretty good. I think it's a little bit awkward that it's like a level 1 card where you gotta like take some trauma or something to put in your deck at level 0.
Yeah.
But
yeah, so someone posted that like In the Thick of It probably exists just because of these spells in the cycle, because they were like, oh, they're gonna want these in their deck, right? It is awkward because I'm very rarely like, oh boy, I'm excited to get to my level 1 brand of Cathaga, right? Finally. But the level 4 brand of Cathaga is super sweet. As Bryn says, you're not wasting a charge if you somehow miss. Like you're like, oh, I'm gonna kill this acolyte. Oh crap, I drew the auto fail. There's a whole charge of my spell gone, right? And then also you're only dealing. You can spend 1 charge on this guy, on a 1 health guy, and the value is still the same, right? Like you basically just get 9 damage out of this when you play it, which is cool. Still awkward though. That level 1. Divination. Here is the clue one. Uses 4 charges, a 3 cost, 1 experience asset, commits for a book. Investigate. For this investigation, you may use brain instead of book, and you get +1 skill value. If you succeed, spend 1 or 2 charges. Instead of discovering a clue at your location, discover 1 clue at your location for each charge spent. If you succeed by 0, choose and discard a card from your hand. The level 4 version is 6 charges, +2 skill value. You can spend up to 3 charges and discover a clue for each charge spent. If you succeed by 0, choose and discard 2 cards from your hand. I remember when we did our preliminary reviews on this one, Travis, you weren't that hot on the Divination. Has your feelings changed, or are they kind of still the same?
yeah, they're fine. Like it is nice that you can put them into yellow investigators as like multiple, or like book-based investigators rather, as sort of a way to get there's multiple deductions. But for mystics, like would still prefer Ray of Seeking most of the time. I think.
Yeah. Like,
There's anything wrong with this. It's just given, like I think that Ray of Seeking is a little bit better.
Yeah, I get that. There is also, as people are saying, like the value. But I mean, like you look at like Rite of Seeking, you get 3 clues for 1 charge. In this one, you get 3 clues for 3 charge. Yes, only on a success, right? You have to spend the thing, but like it's still, you only get essentially 2 Rite of Seekings out of this. So like, yeah, I think the card's still fine, and like it doesn't feel bad to play with, but I don't think it's particularly like over the top good. It's just fine.
Yeah, like it also is kind of awkward with. I think one of the better things that like mystics can do right now in terms of getting clues is like Ray of Seeking with Twilight Catherine Price, where you just never run out of clues. Or you never run out of charges. You just do 2 things in your turn, whether they're move and play something else, or move and fight an enemy, or whatever. And then you get to just get 3 clues every turn.
Seems like a good deal. Yeah, and this one you can't take advantage of that.
Not really. Not quite so much, anyway.
Yeah. Bryn, any thoughts you want to add?
Yeah, this one like it's fighting or combat oriented cousin. It just offers a little more flexibility to whatever it is you're trying to do. Like you need to get 2 clues. That's fine. Don't burn an extra charge. Save a little bit. Use it later. Does that make it worth it? maybe.
I suppose one thing too is
Yeah.
a lot of new players, if they're just starting out, they have the revised core in this. Divination is going to do work in like a smaller, like you're still going to have like there's a Rite of Seeking upgraded one, I believe the level 2 in the revised core set, but it's still just, you could want even more. Like you don't have Twyla, so Divination's going to add more consistency. And then even like someone like Daisy, it's like another way to get even more clues because you're not running crazy deductions. So I think it's like, especially with a smaller collection, you're going to find a lot of value out of Divination. Just when you're looking at everything, I think it loses a good part of its power. All right. Last of these spell cards is we have Earthly Serenity, the level 1 version, and the level 4. Commits for a Brain or a Guts for the level 4 version. Uses 4 charges and action Test Brain 1. For each point you succeed by, you may spend 1 charge to heal 1 damage or 1 horror from an investigator or location. If you succeed by 0, lose 1 resource. The upgraded one is Test 0 and 6 charges. For each point you succeed by, you may spend 1 charge to heal 1 damage or 1 horror from an investigator or location. And if you succeed by 0, lose 2 resources. I think this card's really good. If you want healing, this card is really good at healing. Like, really good at healing. I'm excited to start talking more about healing in a positive light in this game. Because, like, this is like an action where you can spend it. And, like, you're going to probably have, realistically, if you're a mystic, you're aiming for 6 brain. So at that point, you're going to be healing potentially, like, all you need to heal for 1 action. Which is so much better than, like, what we used to have to do. And thank God we didn't do it that much, if at all.
Yeah. Yeah, healing is a little bit awkward, but I think this one fixes most of the problems with that.
I also think this card's good.
Yeah, you get to choose separately for each point that you succeed by.
Yeah.
So you can end up healing, everybody what they need.
Because Travis, that's kind of like what, because you said you played this in your mom played this one of her decks, and like it was exactly that. Like you could just gather around her and she could like just heal you guys as needed depending on her success result. Seems really good.
Yep.
Yeah. Thumbs up. Earthly Serenity, really good. It took me a while to appreciate because before there were official art, they only had the awful photographs. Well, the photographs were good, but one awful photograph of Earthly Serenity. It just looked abysmal. It was like all glared out, so I never got to appreciate it back then. All right. Next things we got here are the talent cycles. Sleuth, Crafty, Bruiser, Prophetic, and Antiquary. They each have the following text with some slight variations, and they all commit for different symbols. We have uses 2 resources. Replenish these resources at the start of each round. Resources on Sleuth may be spent for Charm, Tactic, or Tome cards. And as a lightning bolt during a skill test on a Charm, Tactic, or Tome card, you can spend 1 resource from Sleuth and you get +1 skill value for this test. Crafty cares about Insight, Tool, and Trick. Bruiser for Armor, Firearm, and Melee. Prophetic for Fortune, Spell, and Spirit. And Antiquary for Favor, Relic, or Ritual cards. What are our thoughts on these guys?
Some of them are good and some of them are less good.
What are the good ones to you?
I think Bruiser is very good. It pays for a lot of things, and then like is basically always you.
Yeah.
Afterwards, as well. I think that which one? I think it's Prophetic.
The
is
spell
quite
one?
good.
Yeah.
Yes, the spell one.
Yeah.
Spirits are also very relevant for some people. And I think that the Antiquary one is very good. And I think that the Crafty and the Sleuth ones are like fine. They're good, but they're not as good as the other ones, basically.
Yeah. I think Crafty and Sleuth are like Prophetic. I'll put in the majority of my mystics. If they have like a good chunk of spells, I'm now like on the Prophetic train. Because, like, you look at, like, what Arcane Studies was, the level 4 version, right? And this is basically just that, but better, right? You don't get to do your book, but, like, you're using your brain to probably do your book tests, right? And your spells. You get +1 to your spells. Just, like, those skill tests. There's a lot of value there. Same with Bruiser, right? You're fighting. You might as well make your things cheaper, attack better. And then, like, going back to Sleuth and Crafty, those are, like, in the decks. Like, if you're playing, like, a heavy trick deck, Crafty is probably going to do very good for you in that. But you don't just put it in any deck, because it's not good enough just in any deck. But, like, yeah, Bruiser and Prophetic especially, I'm with Travis. Those ones are very spicy. And I can see why Antiquary... I haven't played Antiquary yet, but I can see why that one can be very good as well.
It's because it pays for all those favors.
Yeah.
Half on its own.
Half on its own. Exactly, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I think the Bruiser is real solid. I might one day try to force some sort of Bruiser Will Yorick deck where I'm using it to pay to be better at the test on my enchanted armor.
Okay.
Maybe not. Let's find out.
Oh, that kind of seems...
Yeah.
That seems sick. Just
What
even...
card types does Enchant Armor have?
It's like armor and ritual, I think. I'm not 100% certain on that. I suppose I could check right now. I'm literally at a computer.
I got it. Yeah, it's ritual and armor. So you could play... No, you can't play Antiquary. Sad.
Oh, that is sad. Yeah. No, I think...
Yeah, that Bruiser is actually really, really good in York.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like most things you want to play, they kind of have to fit into one of those categories.
Yep.
Yeah, especially the armor with that new fireman outfit.
Yeah, protective gear, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That'd be sweet.
Just never die, dude.
And
Yeah,
like,
why be dead when you could not be dead?
yeah, and then even like when you're just planning on grabbing back your cherished keepsake, right? You just use it to make your attack better.
Oh man. So here's the play.
Yeah.
You're running Will Yorick, you're playing Bruiser, you're using it to rebuy heavy furs.
Okay.
Just like repeatedly throughout Edge of the Earth.
Is
Your teammates are like, it's cold, and you're like, nah, it's cool. I'm gonna punch the cold.
is heavy furs an armor, or is it just
Probably, why not? For the world I'm living in right now, yes.
Okay, no, I'm for it.
It is indeed an armor.
It is an armor. Okay, sick.
Yeah, interesting choice.
It is, yeah. Yeah, it is.
I think it's an armor just because it needs a trait of some kind.
Yeah.
And like, what else could you possibly give it?
Coat.
It could be...
Is it an
Clothing?
item? Is it
Because
item
that's-
armor?
Yeah, because that is entirely a trait.
Yeah.
It is.
It is. Well, I'm not here to argue that point. I was playing a Dexter deck where I would use Molly to find clothing, and the clothing was fine clothes when I needed it.
I don't know why, I just find that so funny. Quick, Molly, get me my finery.
Prepare the finery.
Yeah.
Well, she's probably like, thank God he asked for something normal instead of like the candles again, or
Yeah.
like
Or get me the cyclopean hammer, Molly.
bring me David Renfield.
Yeah, go find David Renfield, I need him.
You killed him last show.
Did I? And then he goes...
I know what I said.
Cards are sick, though, and they're just obviously even going to get even better as the collection grows. I think they're really nice. Let's move on. Oh, speaking of, Cyclopean Hammer. I'm going to read it, and our reviews are going to be pretty quick. 5 cost, 5 experience, commits for 2 brains, 2 fists, takes up both hand slots. It's an item, relic, weapon, melee. As an action, fight. Add your brain to your skill value for this attack. You deal +1 damage for this attack. If you succeed and the enemy is non-elite, you may move it one location away from you. If you succeed by 3 or more, you instead deal +2 damage and may move the enemy up to 2 locations away from you. It is a guardian and a mystic spell. Sorry, asset, not a spell. I have the old text in my brain. Card's very, very busted. It's very strong. It's very boring, but it's very strong.
The different view. So I don't actually think it's that good. Like, it's a 5-costed weapon, and it doesn't even do 3 damage reliably. You effectively don't. Like, adding your brain to your skill value is neat and all, but 5 XP weapons typically do more than that. You know? Like, it has an extra effect, but the extra effect might as well be flavor text. It's not there for real things.
The biggest thing that this has going for it, Bryn, is it doesn't use ammo, so you can just it takes up both your hand slots. You get to kill the garbage guys in one action, and you still just get to slog through the boss monsters in 2-3 turns.
Yeah, but like, it doesn't do 3 damage to boss monsters without something else.
Yeah, still, but it's like that something else is probably cheaper than whatever you had to use to keep your flamethrower around to shoot the boss instead of like garbage guys.
Maybe I just don't think it's quite that good. I think it's clearly a strong card, but I think in comparison to other level 5 weapons, it's not really broken. That's just like my opinion, man.
It's just like your opinion.
I've played it once, and I love weapons that don't have ammo, and to me, this just kind of has the efficiency that's just a little bit too high for a weapon. I understand like what you're saying, Bryn, but like for me, I was just like, this is just too much for me when I was playing it. Because like when you're attacking for like 10, you're going to be dealing 3 damage every time. Like pretty much every time. And then it just becomes kind of like ridiculous. Yeah.
No, you may be right. I don't think it's quite that good.
No, that's fair. That's fair.
I don't think it needs a taboo. But I've said that about other things, and I've been wrong before.
Sick. All right. Next one we got here is Enchanted Bow. This is a 3-cost, 2 experience, spell-blessed weapon ranged asset that takes up 2 hand slots and a spell slot. It's for the Mystic and the Survivor class. It commits for a brain and a foot. It uses 3 charges. As an action, you can exhaust Enchanted Bow to fight. You must use either your brain or your foot instead of your fist and get +1 skill value for this attack. This attack deals +1 damage. As additional cost to initiate this ability, you may spend 1 charge to have this attack target a non-elite enemy at a connecting location. If you do, ignore the aloof and retaliate keywords for this effect. For this attack, sorry. Cool bow. The fact that, like, I understand why it exhausts when you use it, because it doesn't use charges, and having an endless amount of +1/+1 damage at 2 experience I mean, obviously in their design, they view it as a bit out of power level for where they want Mystics and Survivors to be, but I think otherwise, like, it's a cool card. It just takes up, as we were saying in the Dexter video we just recorded, a lot of space. It takes up a lot of space.
Yeah, I don't really get why this takes up 2 hand slots and an arcane slot, but Cyclopean Hammer don't.
Yeah, Cyclopean Hammer should take up a spell slot, shouldn't it?
Probably. But no, like, we were real high on, well, not real high on this card, but we were interested in this card when we first saw it, but I think it's, like, kind of bad.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with you mostly. Like, I think it can have a place, but I think that place is still just generally below efficiency, right? Because you have to exhaust it, right? It's like it doesn't have the damage output of the ornate bow, but it kind of has the similar effect where you use it once, right? A turn,
Yeah, no, like, I
essentially.
don't think it's unplayable or anything. It's
Yeah.
just not great.
Yeah, it's just below curve slightly.
Yeah. Yeah, like obviously you can't play it if your primary function is fighting monsters because
Oh my god, no.
how are you going to get away? I've spent a lot of time having Travis be upset at me for not putting together a deck that can actually fight monsters reliably.
Look, I feel like you're
And
painting this
like
bad guy here.
this,
I feel like I have a right to be upset when you're like, we're like, what are we gonna do? And Justin's like, I'll get the clues. And I'm like, okay, I'll play the generic one. You're like, I'll kill the monsters. You show up, you can't kill the monsters. It's like,
There's there was
look, I was a tree.
I saw an image that I think was shared from the Mythos Busters Discord's meme contest, and it was the flower from Cuphead yelling at the fighter yelling at the clover for not getting clues fast enough, and then the flower looking all innocent when it says turn 5 and I still haven't found my weapon.
yep.
Pretty accurate.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know. I think that that pretty much describes it. But like this card is neat, especially if you are some sort of a generalist who doesn't need all of the 17 different slots this thing takes up. There are ways that you could go about offsetting it. It's a weapon, so you know, like Bandolier can hold part of it, but then it's just taking up a different slot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Although if you have upgraded Bandolier, and somehow I mean, like I guess you're Will Yorick, but that doesn't really work either. It does give you +1 brain to hold this.
I think where the value of this card really comes in is if you're able to play it in a Mystic that doesn't really need to lean too heavily into their spell slots. Like I'm thinking specifically Gloria Goldberg, because she can hold it, get like her clue getting spell, like maybe like we're talking like that Twyla thing to just keep getting your Rite of Seekings. But for example, she can then use it to pick off enemies like acolytes at adjacent locations while also still getting clues. So like it could have a home there. But I don't, as I'm with you, Bryn, I don't think this is a weapon you just bring to fight with, because you're going to have a bad time.
You're gonna have a bad time.
Yeah.
Unless you can somehow get this into Bar Kerrigan. Because the paw slots don't matter then.
Someone posted in our Discord today a true magic deck, and this was one of the spells, then that seems kind of also pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's not a bad card, but it's very niche. It doesn't have like a broad home.
You're building your deck around this card.
Yeah, I mean, using it to shoot a whippoorwill out of the sky does seem kind of cool, though. All right.
Yes.
On to our Eon charts, which are, oh my god, Eon charts. We have a level 1 and a level 4 version. The level 1 costs 2. It's part of the Seeker and the Rogue class. Commits for a book and a foot. It's an item and a relic. Takes up your accessory slot. Uses 3 secrets. During your turn, you can exhaust Eon chart and spend 1 secret to choose and take one of the following actions. Move, evade, or investigate. The upgraded version now also commits for a wild. Uses 3 secrets still, and then during your turn, exhaust Eon chart and spend 1 secret. Choose and take 2 of the following actions in any order. Move, evade, or investigate.
The level 1 is like fine. I think the level 4 is very good.
Yeah. A free move and a free investigate sounds like a pretty good deal. Yeah.
Agreed.
I believe there's no official ruling. I could be wrong here, but the general consensus is that they have to be different actions, which I think we're all in agreement on that for the wording of the card. And they still, because you're still taking the action, they still provoke attacks of opportunity. However, that's what the evade is for, if you need to. Because it's like 3 really good actions jammed in that you can do 2 of them for free on the level 4 version. Not much more to say.
Nope.
Ethereal Slip. 2-cost event, commits for a brain and a foot. They're both mystic and rogue. Choose a non-elite enemy at a revealed location up to 2 connections away. Swap places with that enemy. The level 2 version, 1 cost, commits for a brain, a foot, and a foot. It's also a spell and a trick. Choose a non-elite enemy at any revealed location. Swap places with that enemy. What do you think, Bryn?
So,
Why didn't you ask me, Justin?
Well, because I think I asked you first last time.
this card's a trick, which is probably my favorite thing about it, because it means that you can have Chuck Fergus with his cudgel, and his face like a butcher board. And he shows up and you're like, I need you to switch me with that guy 2 blocks that way. And he's like, when do you need it? And you're like, right now, right now. And he's just like, you got it. I don't know how he does it.
But he does it.
I probably don't want to know how he does it. But he can make this spell free and fast. And that's kind of cool.
So I think that this card has got me like a siren on the rocks. I don't think this card, after playing with it a bunch, I don't think this card's good. I think the dream of the card is really good, but I don't think... because you see this card and even just the level, let's not even talk about the level 2 version. You're looking at the level 0 version, you see this card and you think, I am 2 locations away from my Clover. They drew an enemy. I am now that enemy, and we are friends, right? And that enemy's over here. You see that, and you're like, wow, that's actually a pretty good... I'll pay 2 resources for that. And then you end up committing this to a foot, an evade test, because you drew the enemy. It's... I think the card... I don't want to say it's bad, because I'm still driving my ship right to those rocks, but I think it's bad. I don't think it's that good.
I'll say it's bad for you, Justin.
Thanks, Travis.
You're welcome. This card's bad.
Even... Nah, it's too much fantasy land. You just spend... It brings you in and it says, here's what we can do, and then it just never does it. And it just makes fun of you the whole time. And then you pay 2 experience for a manual dex that doesn't replace itself. And you're like... Maybe I was the trick. Yeah. Card's not great. Oh. Janae Beauregard, the Intrepid Explorer. 5 cost, 3 experience. She's a seeker and she's a rogue. She commits for a book and a foot. You get a book and a foot. She takes up an ally slot, and she's also a wayfarer. As a reaction during your turn after you move to a location, exhaust Janae Beauregard, move a clue or a non-elite enemy from a connecting location to your location or vice versa. She has 2 damage, 2 horror soak, and she is very good.
Yeah. She is.
It's like they had a card in their design file, and then they had a note that just said, we should add more to this. And they never took that note off until it got published. And then just every time they were reviewing cards, they're like, there's a note here that says we need to add more to this. Let's add something. I know she can also have a foot because she's a rogue card. It's just like...
Yeah, just slap it on there. Oh, she's probably able to move enemies too. Why not?
Yeah, why not? Why not?
It's kind of awkward. You can only move them one way. You should be able to move them both ways.
Yeah. Agreed. And they're like, and then what? And then there was like, she should also be able to do it with clues, and it's like, yes.
Yeah.
She's ready for printing.
Yeah, I don't see why not.
She's very fun to play with, but she's just she can do a lot of very strong things for her experience level, I think. I'm going to be real. Let's be real for a second. We're going to be talking about Michael Lee in a bit. He costs so much more. And, like, I think he is, like, he's still good in the decks that want him. But, like, you can put Janae in, like, any Seeker deck, and you're going to just, like, improve your win rate by, like, a good percentage. And she only costs 3 XP. Yeah.
What if I don't play her?
What if you don't play her? Well, then
Yeah,
you're probably
what
playing
if
Dr.
I-
Milan, and I think that's still kind of sick.
Will my deck's win rate go up?
Will my deck's win rate go out if I don't play her?
Yeah, you said if I pay experience per deck, I'll win more. But what if I don't play her?
Well, Travis, is your deck good to begin with?
No.
No? Then no. Then no.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. She's just very
You can
good.
argue I'm taking out a worse card for her, I guess. I don't know. What's next?
Hit Me. It's a 1-cost event. Commits for a foot. It's a survivor and a rogue card. It's a fortune and a gambit. Fast. Play after reveal a chaos token during a skill test. Reveal an additional chaos token, switching its negative to a plus. If that token is a skull token, you automatically fail. Bryn, what do you think of Hit Me?
I love this card. It's not good. Let's begin with that. But the cards that I love never are. So that doesn't really matter.
This card's like okay.
Yeah, it's like it's not an amazing
It's-
card, not by any stretch.
Nah. It's like a bad lucky, which is still like pretty serviceable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're basically paying 1 and a card to have the chance of turning a fail into a pass. That's fine.
I think
It also plays really well with a lot of the like look what I found in particular, where if you over fail a test because you drew a -4 or something like that, you can just throw this out there and you're like,
Oh, yeah.
I can probably get myself into the range where I can just play this card.
That's actually some pretty hot tech. Like, I'm not hoping to win this. I'm just hoping to get to the range where I can play
I
this
just
liquid I
want to do
found.
less bad.
Yeah. So that's funny. I like that.
I think when I play this card, I'm gonna stop drawing the token myself.
Oh,
You know,
Have
like,
almost guillotine.
draw the token, pretend to be considering
yeah. Then you say Hit Me.
the ramifications of failure, and hand the bag to somebody else. Like, hey,
I did like the realization, as Bryn brought up in the Dexter video, when I played this and then I drew a curse token, and then I was like, wait a minute.
yeah,
I still have to draw another token. This is a blessed token, but I still... Oh, no. Yeah. I think it's gonna find a home in a lot of level 0 decks. I can see it getting, like, especially, like, I can see it getting upgraded out. But even if you don't, it's still just like a bad lucky, which is still fine.
yeah.
We got the Ice Picks, the level 1 and level 3 version. They are a Seeker and a Survivor card. They're both assets that are both item, tools, and melee, and they take up a hand slot. The level 1 commits for a fist. It's fast. As a lightning bolt during a skill test while fighting or investigating an exhaust Ice Pick, you get +1 skill value for this test. Level 3/1 is fast, also commits for a book now. And during a skill test while fighting or investigating an exhaust Ice Pick, you get +1 skill value for this test. If you succeed, you may discard Ice Pick to have this attack deal +1 damage if you are fighting, or discover 1 additional clue at your location if you are investigating. Travis, what do you think of this one?
I think the level 1/1 is pretty meh. The level 3/1 is it's very strong, but you need to build around it. You can't. I mean, you could just throw it into whatever deck and it'll be like fine. But you need to put a little bit of effort in to make it great.
Yeah.
But there is a lot of potential there.
Yeah, I'm with Travis on that one. You're not just like putting the level 1 into your deck and being like, I've done it. I have finished my deck. Like, this is the exact level I want it to be. I think the level 1/1 is still fine, right? If you're taking if you don't have the XP to get to the level 3/1 eventually, but it's part of your plan, it still will get the job. It'll still help you, right? But
Yeah,
more,
I think.
oh, sorry, go Bryn.
Sorry, no, go ahead.
Okay,
Go ahead.
but I think more often than not, if you are planning on playing Ice Pick 1, you want to get to Ice Pick 3, and that usually will come in either Professor William Webb or Scavenging, or both to help you get there. as Travis said, you could also make a case for the card being just, you can play the level 3 one and just use it to eventually, like maybe you're just like getting through tools like really quickly, like you're some sort of weird Joe Diamond deck and you're just like getting through tools without caring about them. Like maybe there's like a home for it there. But I think it's at its best when you are taking advantage of the recursion that can really shine with it.
Yeah, I just like the idea of playing the level 1 version in Joe Diamond and you're walking around with your detective Colts. And you're getting questioned by the police to, maintain your private investigator's license, and they're like, "What do you need these for?" And you're just like, "I just do.
Yeah.
They're important."
Smash cut to him digging through a flower bed trying to find a clue.
Yeah, I think this is definitely a case of like the level 1 is mostly stronger than the level 3. Like in order for the level 3 to be better, you need to have ways to recur it. So at that point, it's not so much the ice pick as it is just like a payoff that you're looking for.
Yeah.
As opposed to the level 1 where you get to spend 1 resource and not even an action and a hand slot, and you're better at the thing you want to do.
It's basically, I mean, like, it also has a home and, like, someone, like, I think it shines really well. I think the level 1 shines well in someone like Ashcan Pete, right? Where Duke is going to do that. But then again, you might as well, like, ask, why aren't I going to go scavenge, right? If you're going to scavenge, you might as well go up to it. But also, like, scavenging is kind of hard with Ashcan Pete, in all fairness. It is hard for Ashcan Pete to get a scavenge to go off. But I like the level 1 there. Is it really like what other home? Where does this deck also have a home, right? Because like with Min you can just do better. Like, is this Seeker just kind of for Joe Diamond currently?
So if you are playing some sort of weird, it's probably a Maddie Thompson deck because whatever, she can do anything she wants. But like, you're playing a Seeker deck that means to fight with events as well as investigate. And you can get double use out of this. And then outside of that, in red characters, this is always just kind of good. It doesn't matter which side of it you're on.
Yeah, the red. To me, this fits like perfectly in red. It's the yellow thing that feels weird right now.
Yeah, the yellow part is like the card being any kind of good.
Yeah. Or as Travis said, they just had to hit their multi-class quota, and they're like, "This can fit this in Joe Diamond."
Yeah, it does. Like they do have enough fight actions on their cards to make that like not entirely weird. The extra damage on it is strange.
Yeah.
But what else are you gonna make it do?
All right. Next up, we got Medical Student. It's a 2-cost, level 0 Seeker and Guardian asset. It's an ally, Miskatonic, and Science. Commits for a Brain. Takes up the ally slot. Soaks for 1 and 1. And after Medical Student enters play, heal 1 damage and 1 horror from an investigator or ally asset at your location. I think she's fine.
Completely agree.
Yeah. There's really not much to say here, unless Travis has some sort of crazy opinion. I think we can all just agree it's fine.
Some kind of hot take here. I would like to see maybe like 2-ish more 2-costed. They don't have to be Miskatonic, but allies that do things when they come into play.
Yeah.
To support that kind of an archetype.
Yeah. Because we have this, the art student and the lab assistant, and the research librarian.
Yeah.
Yeah. Travis, are you with us? It's just like fine.
Yeah. No, it's like nothing really spectacular about it, but it's also like just kind of good.
Yeah, sweet. All right. Michael Lee. All right. He is a Guardian and a Seeker asset. He costs 4, 5 experience. He commits for a Book, a Fist, and a Wild. He's an ally and a detective, and he takes up the ally slot, of course. He soaks for 3 and 3. You get +1 Book and +1 Fist. After you successfully investigate, place one resource from the token pool on Michael Lee as evidence to a maximum of 3. When you initiate an attack, exhaust Michael Lee and spend 1 evidence. You deal +1 damage for this attack. This man holds vicious blows for days. I think he's very good in Joe Diamond. He's probably also good in Roland Banks. And then otherwise, I can't really think of anyone I'd really want him in.
You could probably play some sort of Weirdsmobile Mark Harrigan deck where you play this, ways to heal yourself, and then you take damage to investigate.
You could, yeah.
Draw a card, and then get, stockpile vicious blows for when you need to horribly murder someone.
I bet this guy, play him in your Zoe Samus deck. Cause you can use Sixth Sense to investigate good.
Oh yeah. No, I dig that. Because then you don't need a lot of clues. You just need you get Flex Zoe. Who would have thought?
Yep. Tommy Muldoon is probably also fine because he comes with 3 intellect, 3 book, and he also can play Plucky as an easy way to boost up his book. Leo also has 3 book. You might be able to do something there. I don't know.
This guy also lives in that same Andy deck.
Yeah.
This fictitious Mandy deck, Ice Pick Mandy.
Yeah. We're sooner or later we're gonna end up building it.
I'm writing it down, Bryn. I'm gonna
builds.
put it on the list.
Punchy Mandy will no longer be a dream.
Yeah. I do think Michael Lee is very good. I've played him in Joe Diamond twice now, and he is just impressive. He costs 5 experience, while Janae's over here costing 3. And he's just, I think, still just very good. I think he's very good in the decks that can really make him work.
Yeah, it is a little weird that Janae is 3-costed when she's kind of just hey, do you do this thing?
Mm-hmm.
Then I'm great. Where Michael Lee is hey, do you do these 2 different things?
Mm-hmm.
Sweet. We can be friends then.
And I think Michael Lee is relatively he could go to 4, but I think Janae also shouldn't be 3. I think she's just a little bit too cheap for what she does compared to Michael Lee.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He can get punched by a lot though, and he just keeps fighting. He's I don't hear no bell.
3 and 3. That's a lot of soak.
It is a lot of soak. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, and most fighters do end up with a serviceable book.
Mm-hmm.
Not great, but how many vicious blows does this guy really need to be worth? Right, if it's 2, is that good enough?
Yeah, it's probably 2, right?
Yeah, I'm thinking,
so if you're not using them for the book, right?
Yeah.
Because that's because you're going to put something else into the investigates probably.
Mm-hmm.
You're paying 4 money for +1 punch, 3 of each soak, and extra damage however many times you can investigate. How much better is that than B-Cop level 2?
Not that much. I think
not 3 experience better.
No.
Yeah. So it probably needs to be 3.
Mm-hmm.
You need to be expecting to get 3 or more.
Yeah.
Vicious blows out of this guy.
Or be making real use out of the book.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, if you're making good use out of the book, then 2 is probably fine. If you're running around using the book, if you always have 3 evidence on him, that's, and you're taking them off and you put another one on, even if it's 2 vicious blows, that's you're getting your use out of them because you're also taking advantage of the book. Yeah, I'm with you that. I get that. Sick. Good job, Michael. You've done it. Nkosi Mabadi. 4 cost, 3 experience, the Enigmatic Warlock. He is a Guardian and a Mystic card. He commits for 2 brains. He takes up the ally slot, and he's also a Sorcerer. Soaks for 2 and 2. And after enters play, name a non-Elder Sign Chaos token with a symbol, rats, until this card leaves play. The name symbol is your sigil. When investigator location reveals a cultist, tablet, or squid symbol exhausts Nikosi, search the chaos bag for your sigil and reveal it instead, returning the other chaos token to the bag. Yes, obviously, Justin, I said when it comes out, this could be wild in Gym. I played it in Gym. It was still just a Gym deck. The loading screen did end up being true. I think Nikosi can really work in a Blessing deck. I would love to see him do some things with Sister Mary, but otherwise I am still not sold on Nikosi. I think he's still just kind of a little bit more cute than he is fantastic.
Yeah, I think this guy might be really good in, like, purple curse decks.
Yep, yeah.
Particularly with the old chicken Farmageddon. So called because it'll block your arteries and you'll die.
Yeah.
But I think with those spells, a lot of the time, if you're drawing only one curse token, it's still good, right?
Mm-hmm.
Although, why wouldn't you just play Twyla?
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah. And I mean, like, in some respects to this game, like, obviously we're reviewing how good the card is, but sometimes you're just gonna, like, people might be inclined to do the fun thing. But I do think, yeah, like, if you want to be doing that, you're probably just outclassed by Twyla, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably. If you get to play either one of his classes to the level required to play him, and also the Ancient Covenant,
Yeah.
then he might be a tank.
Now we talking.
Yeah.
A bad Tommy Muldoon.
Yeah. There are also a whole lot of scenarios where the skull is, even if you're not Jim Culver, just like infinitely less scary than one
It
of
is
these other
true,
tokens.
Yeah.
So, like, that's a thing too.
I imagine he also can get. No, I don't even know. I'm still figuring this guy, but I think he's just kind of outclassed, and I think he's more cute than he is particularly great.
Play Nikosi Mabai. Name Frost token. Question mark? Profit.
Oh god, I'm freezing to death, Nikosi. He's an ice wizard.
I mean, so that might be good in like that might be good in Edge of the Earth if you always take the ally who like eats the frost tokens and you just get like 5 guaranteed successes.
Doesn't he eat the
scenario?
Frost token though, and you have to draw a new one?
Oh, you do?
I think
so.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Maybe if his Resolute version doesn't, like it
Yeah.
just eats it, maybe?
Yeah, but
What's
he
that
also
guy's
might
name?
just die.
Is he Avery Claypool?
Maybe.
Maybe.
Avery. Are you even a guy?
Have we Man, isn't it crazy how important William Dyer actually is, and we've been making fun of him for years?
I don't know
They
what
can
you're
reveal
talking
another one.
Avery Claypool's which one, sorry?
Oh, so the Resolute one, you can. So the Resolute one is he comes with 3 supplies, and whenever he doesn't use a supply to recycle it, but you can spend a supply to cancel it outright.
Okay, yeah, there can be some heat there for sure.
A little bit of spice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
You just show up, you draw 1 Frost token, you draw your second token, you're like, nah, this is a Frost token, I'll fail. Good. See you later.
Stupid teammates.
Okay. Next thing here, the old shotgun. A 0 cost, 2 experience asset from the Guardian and the Rogue class. Takes up 2 hand slots. Item, weapon, firearm. Commits for a fist. Uses 0 ammo. While playing an event, treat old shotguns uses value as 2. As an action, spend 1 ammo, fight. You get +3 fist for this attack. Instead of its standard damage, the attack's damage is equal to the amount you succeed by or fail by. If you fail, you would damage another investigator to a minimum of 1 to a maximum of 3. I can respect that this card might be good. For my playstyle, it's a bit too many hoops to just have a gun. So I'm not too interested in it, but I can respect how people might be. But I'm off this card. It's not that I think it's bad or good. It's not my play style, so I can't. I'm just like, no, thank you, no good.
It's not just a gun; it's a shotgun.
My mistake.
Firstly, secondly, this card is so sick. Is it good? I don't. I get the cards I love and the cards that are good. It's not. It's not a very. The Venn diagram is just like two separate circles.
Yeah.
Pretty close.
So one of the things this card does have going for it is you can play it in the same investigators who can play Sure Gamble, which is pretty good with the shotgun. You just always get max damage.
This is the truth. If you are Will Yorick and you are fighting someone with an event, I'm pretty sure you can play this card from your discard pile and have it enter with 2 ammo.
Yeah.
So that's kind of neat.
Yeah. Like, to me, like this, exactly like with Sure Gamble 2, like, this is a card that you need to work for to get its full value, and then it's going to be good, right? It's going to be good when you can do that. And I think that's just the truth. It's like, you're not like, I'm building a deck, here's old shotgun. You're going to be building around this card.
No. You kind of do need to be building around it.
Yeah.
But I think it's really cool.
How does sleight of hand work now? It cares about a level, right?
Yeah, it has to be level 3 or less.
Yeah, you can sleight of hand this in. Boom, shotgun.
Yeah.
That's the easy mode. That's easy combo right there.
Yeah,
I think the Will York one is that's the advanced combo.
Yep. You can, if you have blue cards, play just like ways to put more ammo into the gun.
Yep. Yeah.
As well as that's a 0 costed level 1 card that you play 3 things one at a time.
Gear up. Oh no, ever vigilant.
Yeah.
The non-permanent.
Yeah, and then when you play this, it will still be part of the event, so it'll have 2 bullets.
Yeah. I mean, like, even just bringing bullets over with Venture, right? Like, and with other things, it's still just ammo, right? Yeah.
Yeah, is it good enough to justify all this work? Who knows? I'm not here to tell you that.
Well, no, Bryn, you are.
Well, not right now.
Yeah, Bryn's like, move on to the next card. We're done with old shotgun. All right. On the Trail. This is a 1-cost event from Guardian and Seeker. Commits for a book and a foot. It's an insight and a tactic. Choose an enemy at any location other than yours. Either move twice toward that enemy or discover 1 clue at any empty location between you and the chosen enemy along the shortest path to reach that enemy. The level 3 version commits for like everything but a brain, and it also commits for 2 books in that process. It's an insight tactic. Choose an enemy at any location other than yours. Move twice towards that enemy. Discover 1 clue at each location you entered by this effect. So I'm curious what you guys think of this card. So Travis, I'll ask you first. What do you think of these On the Trail cards?
I think they're fine. They're like, I think they're a bit better than something like Get Over Here in most cases, just because clues are typically more valuable, but you also need to pay some experience into getting them. You don't get to engage them. But it is like a fine way to get around if you need to.
Yeah. I think...
And just get some bonus clues.
Yeah, I think for me, like, the magic Christmas land that exists when you read this card is better than the card will, like, ever be the majority of the time. I still think it's just kind of, like, fine. But, like, I think, once again, like, I think Joe Diamond got a lot in here. Like, Joe Diamond would enjoy this card, right? Because you're like, I'm going to grab some clues and also go kill this enemy so my other fighter doesn't have to because I'm just the flex, right? Yeah, but I think they're just, like, fine. I don't think they're particularly exciting. They read very exciting, but I think in actual practice, they don't make perfect.
That's fair. They're not practiced.
It's true. They're not. I know. Also, don't put this in your hunch deck. If you're playing Joe, I should say that too. Don't put this in your hunch deck. You'll never play it. Every time it comes up, you'll be like, "Gah!" This is a main deck Joe card if you're playing this in Joe. Any thoughts, Bryn?
Yeah, I mean, I think that this, like Deciphered Reality, and to an extent Sixth Sense, is a card that, if you're playing with it, you kind of gotta bear in mind that it's in your deck all the time.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Maybe that means not clearing up clues all the time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Or revealing locations that otherwise wouldn't need to be.
Mm-hmm.
In order to get maximum use out of it. And if you do get maximum use out of it, this card is very, very good.
Yeah.
Even if you don't get max use out of it, like even if you just get to discover a clue, move, like, sure, good, you're good. You're doing it, kid. Even if you have to move away from an enemy, and then play it, so then you can discover 2 clues and go back to like move into the square that enemy was on originally.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably good too.
Yeah.
Just discovering clues with no test is a very powerful thing.
Yeah. Like even like looking at just like the level 1 version, just like it's basically kind of just like a seeking answers that's free, or yeah. It's just discovering a clue at an empty location between you and an enemy. So there has to be an enemy in play, and it has to be an empty location, but it's still, yeah. Testless clues are good.
Testless clues are good. I think I'd probably rather pay to have evidence in my deck, but that shouldn't discourage you from trying this card or even playing with this card.
Yeah. Pocket Telescope. This is a 2-cost Seeker Rogue asset that commits for a book. It's an item and a tool. Takes up a hand slot. As a lightning bolt exhausts Pocket Telescope, look at the revealed side of a connecting unrevealed location. As an action, you can investigate a revealed connecting location as if you were there. This is one of the cards that we actually get like on the expanded guides. Most people are like, you didn't include Pocket Telescope. And I'm like, I think it's because it's very campaign dependent for how good it is. And that's my thought. I think in like a campaign like Innsmouth, it's very good, right? Like very good. But like in Dunwich, I'm like, I don't care. Right?
Yeah. I think if your name is Trish Scarborough,
mm-hmm.
this card is really sweet.
Yeah.
Because you can investigate all kinds of places as if you were there. To a lesser extent, probably also Monterey Jack in his campaign, the one he's meant to be, or that he's from.
Mm-hmm.
This is very good, I think, also because there are a lot of. I'm not going to get into too much spoiler territory here, but there are many locations that if you can see the other sides of them before making your choice of what to do or where to go,
you benefit from it a lot, yeah.
It will help you.
Yeah.
And to some extent, this is also true in Innsmouth.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, this one basically is spoiler light as possible, because we did have, like, some light spoilers for Edge of the Earth. Apologies if we ruined anything for you, but you'll be fine. I trust you. Like, this basically just neutralizes horror in high gear. Absolutely neutralizes it.
Can you imagine that? You're driving down the road and your driver whips out a pocket telescope.
Yeah.
Just like, oh my god, what are you doing?
But then they're like, there's a dead end up there. And you're like, oh my god, he's absolutely cracked.
This man's from the future.
Yeah, I think the card's very good, but like apart from like Trish Scarborough, I think it's very campaign dependent on when it like really shines. Mm-hmm. But otherwise, it's just like fine to below average for me anyway. All right.
Yeah, you can probably do some kind of cheesy stuff with it if you're playing Rex on lower player counts.
Yep.
This is
yeah. So that would also
very much a thing.
Because you could be on a low shroud, you could like be on a high shroud location, investigate a low shroud location. You succeed by 2. You grab the clue off the location you investigated, and then your ability triggers on your location. That is true. You could cheese that there.
Yeah, that's probably pretty good. So
Yeah.
I suppose the same is also true of Ursula, where you can trigger your move every time.
But like with all this thought too, like for most of the time, I'd say like 90% of the time to 98% of the time, I'm at a location because I want to investigate that location. So, like, I think that's what's like stopping me from really liking this is just like a card I put in all my Seeker decks. Trish, I think there's a case for her to be like an offhand thing, but she also only has 4 book, so she needs some help as well. Yeah. I mean, like, I think the card's still fine. And really good in Innsmouth. And probably very good in Edge of the Earth. Yeah. The Precious Mementos. These are 3 cost, 4 experience assets from a former life and from a future life. They commit for 2 wilds, and you can only have one of their subtitle in your deck. They take up the accessory slot. They're Item Charm Blessed and Item Charmed Cursed, and they soak for 3 and 3, which, as we talked about in Michael Lee, is a big amount. However, on the former life, after you fail a skill test by 2 or more, exhaust Precious Memento, heal 1 damage from it. And after you succeed a skill test by 2 or more, exhaust Precious Memento and heal 1 horror from it. The opposite is true for the former life. Fail by 2, heal a horror. Succeed by 2, heal a damage. Hey, have you ever wanted to, like, not die? Because do I have the card for you? It does cost a lot of experience, and it takes up a very contested slot, but, hey, you just don't die.
Yeah, I bet these cards are really good in cursed and or blessed decks, or both.
Yeah. I have played these with a Relic Hunter, and when you have them both in play, you just like are literally the Terminator. You're just walking around killing everything and being like, I am unkillable. That is very experience heavy, right? So like it is 11 of your experience, and you need to draw them and play them. But they're still just like, if you're worried about dying, grab the one that you're going to do more of for the stat you're worried about more of. It's that simple.
Yeah. No, I think these are they're just good.
They're just good. Like, the accessory slot is contested, so you're not just like going to be putting these in your deck, right? Like, if you're not worried, your Lucky Cigarette Case 3 is probably worth a lot more than these are, but they're still just very good if you need that kind of thing or you want that kind of thing.
Yeah. Sweet.
Hey, our spoiler card, Mr. Professor William Webb, a finder of hidden connections. Wow, what a subtitle. He's a 3-cost asset from the Seeker and Survivor class. He commits for a book on the level 0 and a book and a wild on the level 2. He's an ally and a Miskatonic, and he takes up your ally slot. He soaks for 1 and 2 on the level 0, 1 and 3 on the level 2. He uses 3 secrets. For the level 0, when you successfully investigate, exhaust Professor William Webb and spend 1 secret. Instead of discovering a clue or location, either choose an item card in your discard pile and add it to your hand, or discover a clue at a connecting location. When you successfully investigate, exhaust him on the level 2 version and spend a secret. Choose an item card in your discard pile and add it to your hand. Instead of discovering a clue at your location, you may discover a clue at a connecting location. Travis, what are your thoughts on Professor William Webb?
I think that in general, he's not worth the ally slot, but there are some neat things you can do with him for sure.
Yeah. Like I love the guy because he was our spoiler card, so I feel like him and I are friends in real life. But the level 0 version literally makes me want to puke.
Yeah, a little bit. I really wish that like at least the level 2 version gave you +1 book or something.
Yeah. Because like he's just there's Dr. Milan. Right? And you're going to be scavenging, but the thing is, like, this guy is an addition to scavenging, and I know like you can like do secret things and move him around, but that's just a lot of stuff where like honestly a Dr. Milan and scavenging is gonna do more for you. Or just like hell, that ghost that's pointing in you the direction. And scavenging is probably gonna do more for you than Professor William Webb will. Cause like
I think he's good.
yeah, like I like the level 2 version. I don't like the level 0. I like the level 2. But I feel like he's just a bit under for me.
Yeah, I got a feeling like maybe I should have been playing the level 0 in my current Bob Jenkins deck.
Oh yeah.
There's a distinct possibility. I think that recurring item cards can be very powerful, but it's not an every deck thing.
Oh yeah.
It's like one specific deck type.
Yeah, Professor William Webb, he exists only in the deck where you're recurring items from your discard pile. You're not putting him in like, hey, I got my deck. I'm putting William Webb in. He has a home, and that home is in that specific archetype.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like when you're playing that archetype, he seems very good.
Yeah, I'm interested to give him another shot, but
yeah,
I'd probably still put a little different level 0 ally in, and then upgrade into him.
Yeah, I think with a lot of the Bob Jenkins cards,
yeah,
he like that makes this very strong. Even if all he's doing is just showing up and handing you more bandages. Like,
yeah.
All right, sure, that's probably pretty good.
Yeah, thanks, buddy. Thanks for the toilet paper.
Yeah.
He's like, no, Bob. You wrap it around the wound like this. Oh.
He shows up and he's all, Charlton Copley, like.
Oh yeah.
Wipe yourself off, you're bleeding.
100% Charlotte Copley would play him in the movie. 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Protecting the Anurnik. I believe that how it's pronounced. I should know it. It is a ward in my own city. It's an event. Costs 2 experience. Commits for a book and a foot. It's a ritual. It's part of the Seeker and the Mystic class. Fast. Play after an ally asset location is discarded by a card effect or is defeated. Either return that asset to its owner's hand or its owner draws 3 cards. I mean, like, it's kind of like another flavor of sacrifice, right?
Yep.
It also has the protection, which can be really good. Like if your deck is built around your ally and they're very important. But I think otherwise the card's like, it's not like gonna change the world, but I think it's a cool card and I think it's a good card for what it is supposed to be. Yeah.
I think this card would have been really funny to play with, like, I don't know, maybe 4 years ago when Justin was still playing Pete in every deck and we were playing through Forgotten Age. They had the stupid arrows from the trees that would just kill 1 health allies.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Pete,
and he'd be like, oh, no, Pete's dead. And you'd be like, no, don't worry. I got his spirit in a jar here.
Yeah.
We're good.
I have his spirit right here. Yeah, that would have been pretty funny.
I think so.
Yeah. Sweet. All right, next one here. We got Protective Gear. This is a 4-cost Guardian and Survivor card. It's an item in an armor. It takes up your body slot. Makes sense. Commits for a bryn and a foot. Soaks for 3 and 3, which we know is a lot. When you draw a Hazard Treachery, deal 1 damage and 1 horror to Protective Gear. Cancel that card's Revelation effect. I have a video where I dive into this pretty heavily of all the Hazard cards that exist. And there's some campaigns where I think this card is like very good. But even then, it's still just, as we talked about, 3 soak for the 2. It is expensive and it takes up a slot and it does cost experience. And like maybe you just kind of like, if you're red, you can maybe just like grab the mementos. But I think it's still just fine. And as I said, good in certain campaigns.
Yeah.
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 Sick.
Yeah, I've not done any sort of math on how many hazard treacheries there are and how many of them I actually care to cancel, or think that their effects are worse than dealing 1/1 to myself. But 4 for 3/3 soak. I think I would rather most of the time buy this card than a bulletproof vest or an Elder Sign amulet.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, 100% over like the bulletproof vest for like you just get more.
Yeah, like the vest and the amulet have the upside of only costing 2 to play.
Yeah.
But
like you are pseudo kind of getting both of them.
Yeah, you kind of get both, and you get them for less XP.
Less XP and also like a less important slot than the Elder Sign amulet.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Cool. Quick draw holster. Hey, Bryn, are you ready? It's a Guardian and Rogue card. 4 cost, 4 experience, an asset. Item tool list, it takes up your body slot. Commits for a fist and 2 foot. As a lightning bolt, choose a firearm asset taking up only 1 hand slot in your play area. Attach it to quick draw holster or switch it with the attached asset. The attached asset takes up no hand slots. Limit 1 attached asset. As a lightning bolt, you can exhaust quick draw holster to perform a fight action on the attached asset without paying its action cost. Sorry, excuse me. Bryn, what do you think of this guy?
Cards that I like and cards that are good often do not entirely overlap. I think this card's really cool. Is it worth 4 money and 4 XP? Who knows, man? Travis will tell you it's not, but don't listen to him. You might be wrong.
Travis, is that true?
It's possible.
Bryn is correct. I think this card is bad.
Yeah, I don't know. Justin's going to tell me that this is too much magical Christmas land for this to ever be good. And, also don't listen to him. You might be wrong.
Yeah, there's just, to be real, there's a lot of text on this card that ultimately just ends up reading, do nothing until, everything pays off. But, I mean, even if I suppose if I had to, look at it from Bryn's perspective, if you have a gun in play, this basically just gives you a free fight action, right? You just need a gun in play. But I still think that's a lot for 4 experience. And 4 resources. There is so much. I would not be surprised if this got tabooed down to 3 or 2 experience. Give it to Tony, and he can attack 8 times a turn. I don't care.
Fan the hammer, cowboy.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I think that sums it up. We got Bryn perfectly described. He said what Travis and I were going to. It was perfect. All right. Sledgehammer. This is a Guardian and Survivor item tool weapon asset. Commits for a fist on the level 0 version. It's a 3 cost. Takes up both hand slots. As an action fight, you get -1 fist and deal +1 damage for this attack. Double action fight, you get +2 fist and deal +2 damage for this attack. The level 4 version still costs 3, commits for 3 fists. As an action, you can fight, you get +1 fist and deal +1 damage for this attack. Triple action fight, you get +5 fist and deal +5 damage for this attack. Cool flavor text, 25 pounds of Steel Vengeance. I regret putting it in my Daniela deck. I do not like Sledgehammer, and I do not think it is good.
I think this is what a sick-ass melee weapon should look like.
Fair. I just, that bottom action, we're gonna forgo the level 0 version, because, I mean, if I'm gonna really, it's, forgoing the level 0 version right now, the 3 action fight, it needs to go, so perfect. You need to draw the enemy. If someone else draws the enemy, congratulations. You now have a 1 in 16th chance of just killing them. Yeah, you're probably going to hit the enemy, right? But you're never going to have a moment with Sledgehammer, or it's so rare where it's going to work perfectly. And you just got to spend all 3 actions to kill the enemy you drew. The top action, fight, you get +1 fist and deal +1 damage. Cool. Why don't you just play, if you're like a survivor, which you're probably doing this because as a guardian you get much better weapons anyway. But as a survivor, why don't you play Time Worn Brand? Or why don't you just even play the new upgraded fire extinguisher that came with this, which has an equal top half and a much better bottom half, because it's just a panic button you can press, like an actually relevant bottom half. On this note, with all my complaining, I do think the card is sick as hell, right? And like the fantasy that it paints is super cool. But I don't think this card is good. I was very hot on it at first, but I don't like it. I don't like it now.
Joe Diamond's Detective Colts can hold 2 of these.
They can hold 2 sledgehammers. That is true. That is true.
Yeah, like this card's great, but I think it's better than giving it credit for, Justin. But you do need to build around it a little bit. I think a lot of the weaknesses this card has are mitigated by playing something like Safeguard that gives you, like, so you can take that move action for free. I think this is a very effective boss killer weapon, where you just, against something like Yig, where you get to condense all your actions into one test for the turn, which you're almost certainly going to succeed because you get +5 to it. Right? And then you get your 6 damage for your 3 actions, and like, good. It's pretty good with weight, like basically anything that gives you extra actions, which is a little bit tough to come by, admittedly, but it's also good for like doing like stacking vicious blows into.
Yeah.
Because again, like you're like it's better to stake all your cards on like a 1/16 chance than to spread them out over 3 actual attacks, right?
Oh yeah, definitely.
I mean, so I don't think it's a great weapon, but I think it's a little bit better than than you think it is.
That's fair. Sick. Yeah. Sweet. I did play. One of our patrons made a deck where I had to play this with Riot Whistle. And like that's another one. I mean, like, in all fairness to against my point, and what Travis is also expanding on, because we should look at these cards with everything. Like, even a Riot Whistle does make this go like work a little bit more. Like, especially if you're a Guardian, your accessory slot isn't too important. So that could be a Riot Whistle, which then also mitigates any risk, and also like, yeah. So there is that too, to add on to further what Travis is saying as well. Snipe. I always forget this card exists. 0 cost, 1 experience, commits for a fist and a foot. It's a guardian and a rogue card. It's a tactic. During the next fight action you perform this turn using a ranged or firearm asset, treat each skull, cultist, tablet, squid, or elder sign token you reveal as a 0 token. This action does not provoke attacks of opportunity. What?
What?
No, I'm just kind of like, so like, this exists to help on higher difficulties, probably?
I guess.
Because, like, otherwise I don't really see a home for it.
It's not a great card by any stretch, I'm pretty sure.
Bryn, Snipe, do you have any thoughts? Because I can't even like really think of a home for it.
No, the more I look at this card, the worse I think it is. I didn't realize that it cost me an XP to put in my deck initially, but also it's not fast.
It's not fast. Nope. This card might be...
Like,
I mean, it does basically guarantee that you're going to pass your test.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I suppose it does ignore the autofail.
It's real strong for some to play alongside like the shotguns.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, can this like do this? Could probably do something with the shotgun, right? You'd have to build around and get your fist up a bit higher, but it could basically like just turn all those bad tokens, like even the auto. And this also does interact with the autofail, right? So this could be used to stack up and like for your big shot against the boss. Like you aim at Yig's head, and you're like, see you later, Snake Boy, and you pull the trigger, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So there's a home for it. There's the home. Okay, I still don't think like outside of that home, if you play this card, I'd be like, what? But
But why?
yeah, but there's a home for it. Okay, that's good. As long as we found a home for it, I'm okay. Otherwise, no thank you.
Yeah, it's like Eat Lead, but better, I think.
Yeah. Cool. The Talisman of Protection. This is a 2-cost, level 0, Mystic Survivor asset that takes up your arcane slot. It's an item and a charm, commits for a bryn. Fast. Play only during your turn. Play Talisman of Protection under the control of any investigator or location. When you're assigned damage and or horror that would defeat you, discard Talisman of Protection. Cancel up to 2 damage and or horror of that damage and or horror. Bryn, what do you think of Talisman of Protection?
All right, so the only thing... No, not the only thing. I got lots of things to say, but the thing I'm going to say is that when I was first playing this card, I didn't read that it was fast.
Mm-hmm.
I was spending actions to play it, and I still thought it was kind of okay.
They should have a
being
little
fast?
symbol, like a Sonic the Hedgehog near the cost, so we can know it's fast.
Yeah. Exactly. How else am I supposed to know? Am I supposed to read all the words on the card? That's
No,
so
you
many
do not
words.
RTFC. You do not.
I can't do that.
Did you have more
No,
to
I
say?
do think this card is strong, though.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you. I think this card's really good. I think it's very good for a level 0 card. Like, I can see why you'd still play it when you thought it wasn't fast, but like, it being fast is obviously what makes this card like really juicy. And you
Yeah.
can protect other people. I think the card's just really good for a level 0 card.
I feel like it's a little bit disingenuous to say you're playing it when you thought it was slow, Bryn, because you weren't like really playing it for its effect. You were playing it because it was an item that you could dump under other people's control
That's true.
when you just had stuff laying around that like technically did something.
I will neither confirm nor deny
Sounds
And
like
I'm not
someone
saying
just got
that
busted.
it's bad.
these allegations.
You're misrepresenting what happened.
What Travis just did is he did a Phoenix Wright slam on his desk and he said objection. Objection! Take that!
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I do think this card's pretty okay.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I'd call it good because it doesn't like actually do anything, but it's a nice level 0 card for like what's her face, martial artist like Lily Chen to just take
Yeah.
up her arcane slots for the dragon pool. It's good for that.
Yeah.
This card is also probably like not a house, but like strong in Patrice because it's just fast and you can play it on. You can do whatever with it, man.
Yep.
Like it doesn't matter.
You're like, just take this. I'm gonna drop it
Yeah.
soon.
Yeah, the cost is the card, but you don't care.
Yeah. Sick.
No, every time that I had one of those in play, it felt pretty good.
Oh yeah. Yeah, like it's
Even the one time that I used combined two of them to stop myself from drowning.
that is true. You did do that.
Yeah.
Then drown anyway.
That is true. That also
yeah.
did happen. Yeah. Yeah. Sweet. Last card. We have the Unscrupulous Loan. This is a survivor and a rogue asset. 0 cost, 3 experience. It's a pact. Limit 1 per investigator, cannot leave play. After you play Unscrupulous Loan, gain 10 resources. When the game ends or you are eliminated, if you have fewer than 10 resources in your resource pool, you exile Unscrupulous Loan. Bryn, what do you think of this guy?
I like this card, but I honestly very rarely see myself paying 3 XP to play with it. I think it's very solid. Like the green half, if you want to play it in like the dragon decks, where you want to, pile together a bunch of stuff. The Jeff Bezos decks, if you will, and perhaps on this channel we do.
Actually, they got mad at us because we didn't play Unscrupulous Loan in the deck.
And like the red half, where you just get a surge of resources, and you're like, cool, maybe I can use this to try to close out the game. However, the flip side of that is that red cards don't cost anything. So
Yeah.
What are you doing?
No, you just play this in your Dark Horse deck to play Dark Horse hard mode.
Yeah. I have to find a way to spend all this money.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm kind of with you. Like, I can see the homes for it, but like, I feel like there's more exciting things, but I think also at the same time, I think this card can work fine for like when you're coming near the end of the campaign, you've bought the things you need, and you're just going to throw this in to speed up your dragon process. Like, it's like, that's a pretty fine home for it, I think.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Just nothing about this card screams priority to me, except for maybe keeping those resources if you're green.
Yeah, that's pretty much it, right? Like 10 resources turns on just about everything you could have.
Yeah. I am excited to try this in a survivor deck where your goal is to just make some money and then like run away with the loan.
Oh man, Justin, you're playing a deck where you're trying to use Professor William Webb to recycle chainsaws.
All right, I'll put it on the list. I'll put it on the list.
How and why? I don't know.
Chainsaw. That's just what I'm going to write down. Travis, anything you want to add, or have we covered it?
I think you guys got most of it.
Sweet. All right. Well, that is it for our multi-color class reviews. This is going to be the longest one of the reviews, obviously, because there's the most multi-class cards. But for the next 5 weeks, buckle up, because we're going to be going through all the other classes. Guardian, Seeker, Rogue, Mystic, Survivor, and Neutral is going to join there. So it should be fun. If you like this kind of content, let us know by liking the video or subscribing to the channel. And if you have any other additional thoughts or disagreements that you want to talk about for our opinions on the cards, put them in the comments down below. We would love to hear from you. Thank you so much for watching. Huge thank you to all of our patrons for supporting the channel. You guys rock. All of you at home rock. Bryn, Travis, you guys also rock. Unfortunately, I frickin' suck. But what can you do, right? What can you do? You just gotta live with it. Bye, everybody.